welcome, welcome, welcome. The Pixelated Sausage Show. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, how is everyone doing? How are all of y'all doing on this here Thanksgiving? I just realized that when this episode comes out, it will be Thanksgiving because this episode, this show, this podcast comes out on Thursdays, and Thursdays aren't all Thanksgiving. That would make sense, but this Thursday isn't it is Thanksgiving. And it meant to come out as it is Thanksgiving, and somehow it escaped my mouth as isn't. But I am, of course, your host, Mark Krishnaz. Hi. And hopefully, your Thursday this week, whether you are celebrating whatever with family, friends, whoever, ignoring the origins of the holiday, because we don't need to get into that. Every time there's always that. It's just like, Thanksgiving for me, just about spending time with the ones you love. Let's forget about where it comes from, all right? Let's try to be happy instead of be miserable thinking about other crap. Right now, at least. Anywho, hopefully y'all are having a wonderful day, regardless of everything. Always. Not just this Thursday, but every Thursday. And hopefully, if you are searching for any deals on Friday or the weekend or Monday or whenever, you're able to get all the deals you want and maybe a few surprises you weren't expecting. But on this here podcast, I will be talking about down the line. Not that far down the line. You know what's funny too? It's not actually that funny, but I said, I think either with episode 150 or the last one, 151, I am never going to record in the evening ever again, because I think that has been part of the lack of quality of podcasts, because I'm just tired. I wake up and I'm fucking tired. I haven't eaten anything. I'm hungry. And then I record a podcast when I'm tired and hungry. I said, I'm only going to record in the morning, afternoon for normal people, which is later. We don't need to get into my schedule. But I'm here recording less than an hour after waking up. I haven't eaten because I don't eat for a while after waking up. But it is what it is. And this is Tuesday when I'm recording this. Signed out? How dare you sign me out? Sign in. I want my show notes. Yes, verify it's me. Google. Thank you. How dare you? In the middle of my wonderful, I don't even know, is it sleepy time? Sleepy time. But I'm here. I'm tired. I'm also changing my wardrobe. I've decided that I'm done with graphic tees. I'm not going to get rid of the ones I have, because I've kept those of all the ones I had because I either really like the design, or I really like the design with some of them, but with all of them, they are properties that I have some affinity towards of varying degrees. And there are still some I really, really like, and I might keep a few for this and that. Maybe I'll make them sleepwear, pajama wear if I'm not going. I never go commando, but I could go shirtless when sleepy time. But I have decided to update my wardrobe with just plain tees. I found a quality premium plain tee I really like the fit of, where it's not too tight, not too small, and it's not, especially for me, which is an issue, it's not riding up in the armpits, because I am 5'7", and then my arm span is 6'1". I can't remember if it was 6'2", but it's not where it should be. It's too long, and it just makes finding t-shirts with sleeves. I wish there was a small tall. They don't make small talls. The smallest I've seen are medium talls, and that's just not going to work for me. but I found one. I'm not going to mention it because I don't want you to look at it and see how much it costs. I will get them here and there, gradually add them to my wardrobe, but I think I'm going to do for very, very casual fits. And I know this is all very exciting. You just want me to get to the games, which include Farming Simulator 25, Cultist Simulator, White Day 2, The Flower That Tells Lies, Glitch Hero, MetroLand, and Spellagis. 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 But I'm just going to get plain tees, and the ones that I like don't come in any cool colors or flowery colors that I would like to see, like a lavender, a muted pink, muted red, crimson, or blue, indigo, stuff in that ballpark, purple, but are more earthy in tone. I'm just gonna get a handful of black, white, and gray tees. I hate brown. I just, in general, don't like the color, and I don't think it looks good on my skin. They do have some greens. I don't really like that on my skin. Thankfully, they don't have any yellows. Yellow, I think, is the worst color on pale white skin. And I just think yellow is a shit color. Orange sucks too. Orange is okay. Orange is better than yellow. Yellow is the worst color, at least for shirts on white skin. But just gonna get a handful of those and then do what I'm doing now the last few episodes. If I want to spice it up, fancy it up a little bit, which is throw on a long or short sleeve shirt over it, unbutton. Because you can do that over a graphic tee, yes, but that looks not. I don't like a. Maybe if it's a similar property. Because for instance, I'm wearing. You can't tell because you can't see the color or anything, and you can barely see the little stuff on it. But I'm wearing Garfield short sleeve button up. So you got little Garfield and Odie. I don't know. Is it just them? Yeah, it's just those two. But I have that on. And if I had a Garfield tee, graphic tee, then that could work. Depending on the color still. But I know. So freaking exciting. You know what is exciting? News reports that Sony is reportedly working on a proper handheld again, because everyone is working on a handheld. Not again, because Xbox has never done it, but it makes sense given the market. I do think it's gonna be interesting when everyone has a handheld out there, and how that maybe hurts the space because there's too much choice, or either that it's gonna be interesting because you're gonna have the Switch continuing to dominate, and the Switch will be the one that is still the only. This is your hybrid console. This is your home console and your handheld. It's all in one. The ones from Xbox and PlayStation will 100% be this is the low end option. Then you have your really fancy, and maybe that's where I would like to see that, so that there's less. It's not that I want less choice, but I don't want so many different options where it's like you have this tier, this tier, this tier, this tier, this tier, and this tier. Just have it be with PlayStation and Xbox. You transition to having your fancy console. So you have the PlayStation 5 Pro. But that becomes the PlayStation 6 home console, which is your $700 super powerful, high quality gaming device. And then you have your $700 Xbox Series, whatever the fuck whatever with your naming structure, Xbox. And then you have your handheld, which falls slightly cheaper. And maybe you vary it up by having a dockless model so that you have a $400 PlayStation, whatever portable, and then $500 with a dock. Or you could buy the dock separately for $130, because there's always going to be that little bit of saving for bundling together. And the same on the Xbox side, as opposed to having any kind of Series S or standard PlayStation 6 console. I'd like to see that happen, but not really much in terms of details to report on that. But apparently that's happening, and I think no one was shocked to hear that. I'm always surprised when people think the Portal is done incredibly well. It's done well, for sure, but I think it's done well in terms of their expectations and how many they've manufactured, because it's not even broken 1 million units, I believe. And what did I hear recently about the Steam Deck? That it was either 3 or 6 million, which seems to fall in line. The thing I'm curious about with the Steam Deck is what the attach rate is, because it feels like that device is just, regardless of how many, it's 100% a success for Steam, clearly. But I feel like it's a device that's just geared towards getting you and cementing you in that Steam ecosystem and getting you to buy more games. And probably people do buy more games when they have a Steam Deck than people who just have a PC. Because, and I wonder this because it became clear very quickly a few years ago, or whenever the Steam Deck came out, that it had made its splash, that it was a significant thing in the gaming space, because you suddenly had everyone releasing press material about it having a game having a Steam Deck version. So the fact that it would hit that place where it was important enough to say, hey, this has a Steam Deck version, I said success. But the other piece of news that is just annoying the shit out of me is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director says Xbox is great, wants to see the trilogy on more platforms. This comes from VGC. The Sony handheld thing was just everywhere, so I didn't read anything specific, but I'm getting these details from VGC. And in this little article, you have a few quotes from, who is this? Naoki Hamaguchi? In an interview or something with Games Radar, where he was asked how he felt about the game being released on other platforms. He wanted to see the remake appearing on more systems and said, in terms of Final Fantasy VII, there's nothing really we can say at the moment, but certainly I do want to bring Final Fantasy VII and the remake series to as many players out there as possible. So we want to create this. We want to create that situation, that environment where more players can play the games in the future, and we want to look in that direction. Maguchi also said that while it used to be possible to release a game on a single platform and have players buy that system to play it, that's less the case these days. Blah, 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 blah. And although he didn't specifically mention Xbox when saying he wanted to see Final Fantasy VII Remake series on other platforms, Hamaguchi was then asked for his opinion on Square Enix's multi-format strategy. Multi-format? Just say multi-platform? What? You Brits. You Brits. To which he praised the Xbox platform. This is just a personal opinion now, but I've got an Xbox myself, he replied. I think it's a great hardware platform. I do like Xbox. And it goes on with a few more things of that nature, but everyone out there, stop asking about Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox. And y'all, everyone at Square Enix, fucking shut up, all right? I don't want to hear about how much you love Xbox. Oh, Xbox, it's a great platform. We like it so much. We would love to put more stuff on there. Fucking fantastic. Good. I don't give a shit anymore, all right? Just shut up. Until you have something to say substantially about whether it's happening or not, I don't fucking care. I don't want to hear about how much you would love to do it. Until you can say you're doing it, look, zip your goddamn mouth, all right? But I'm now more confident than ever. Not really, but I feel like it's probably just going to be either exactly when the third part comes out, they just dump all 3 parts on Xbox, or when that happens, that'll be the end of the deals, and it'll be a year out from that, maybe. I get the sense with this and other things that the real thing is, in all of these exclusivity deals, with PlayStation especially, they put in some clause that says you can't talk about the deal. You can't say when the deal is over. You can't talk about it. All right? And that shouldn't be allowed. I don't like having this question. I wouldn't care if when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out or was announced and was going to be coming out whenever it came out, they said, this is going to be exclusive on PlayStation 5 for 5 years from the release date. Because to me, that's not telling people, hey, it'll be on Xbox in 5 years. So you know what? It's fine waiting. No, I mean, if you really want to play the game, you're not going to want to wait 5 whole years. Even if you're like me and Xbox is your first platform, you're not going to want to wait. But I've been waiting because I don't care enough about Final Fantasy, having never played one for any kind of significant amount. I will want to, and I would like to play the remakes. But I waited also in part just because there was always this question, oh, is it a year of exclusivity? There was always this question in the air of how long it was going to be on PlayStation. Is it coming to Xbox? Who really knows? And we just kept being dragged along by little hints and little rumors here and there. It's just fucking... Everyone shut the fuck up, all right? Until you have something to say, just shut the fuck up. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say about all that. So let us get on to what I've been playing finally. Starting with Farming Simulator 25. I played this on Xbox, and it's all right. I am not by any means well versed in the Farming Simulator world, that community, so I can't speak to the intricacies of the game and its differences between versions. I know this one is sold incredibly well. I got a code for it, of course, but it's sold very, very well. And I'm always surprised when I get those emails about Farming Simulator and that community, because I think there's even a convention just for Farming Simulator. The simulation space is a wild one, but Farming Simulator in particular seems to be quite popular. But I played a smidgen of it, and it's all right. It's janky. There were times where I got stuck on civilians, on NPCs, and on parts of the environment. I bought myself a dirt bike, and then I drove it off the road and hit not a jump, but I think I went off a higher ground and went into a tree, and then my bike was stuck in the tree. I couldn't get it out, and I don't know what to do. My bike is just in the tree. I tried to hire help and said, hey, you ride this, help, and deliver it to my home, thinking that maybe it'll just automatically do it. And the game was like, no, we cannot do this. We are not, nope, you fucked up. And now I just have a bike in a tree, and I can't get it. I don't know how to get it out. But other than that, it has a very light intro tutorial that shows you the basics of the game, and it works fine. I think the stuff was voice acted, but it does run at 30 frames per second, which is not great. It does not feel great. It's a sluggish game to play, and I don't know why. It's funny seeing how certain corners are cut in that you can't go inside buildings, but if you look in through windows that are open, or not even open, just where you can see the glass that they're not shuttered, it looks like the house is made of little, not dioramas, but those things you see in some houses, in a lot of Japanese houses, where it's the standing fold out the I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, but they're just the super fake houses. They feel like they're made out of cardboard. But then you just go about doing your business, tilling the soil, planting stuff, harvesting, and all that. And it's pretty all right stuff. I like that when you are doing a job, you just press a button and you can hire an AI helper to do it for you, and they'll do it pretty well. But once you go through that initial tutorial that just tells you this is how you harvest, this is how you do this, gives you the basic gist of things, it lets you loose to do whatever you want. And I can see the appeal of these games. What I'm more interested in and what I dabbled with was a multiplayer. I'm sure previous versions have also had multiplayer, but you can play with up to 15 other players, so 16 total, and just have these communal farms. And that I found more enjoyable because there's something about the nature of this, or the scope and the size of this, that is very daunting as a new player. So getting my own farm and then just getting the keys of the castle, being let loose to build it however I want and buy all these things, it's very overwhelming. So when I jumped into online in a large space with a full group of people and was just given a specific task to do, hey, you go do this. All right, I know how to do that, and I can do that while other people are doing other things. I don't have to worry about all this other part of the farm. That was fun. There's something to working with other people when you find a good community of people who are serious but not too serious, that still have that casual side to them, that are not, you don't want to get into a group, because I immediately bounced from one where it was clear this is a min-max, not the podcast, etc. thing, Patreon. But this is a community that's all about doing everything perfect. And I'm like, I'm out. I am not going to be the weak link here. I'm not going to piss off these people and just get yelled at. That's not what I'm here for. Let's have fun on the farm. So there's that. But I do believe there are people who aren't happy with this version. The menus themselves can be a bit clunky to navigate on console with the gamepad. But as a newcomer coming in, I've enjoyed my time with it. Looks pretty all right. Still don't know why there's no 60 FPS option, because it doesn't look that good. And I like how you can adjust certain settings. It's wild to me. I think it's cool that you can play it in real time if you wanted. At its default speed, I think it's 5 times, so I think it runs at about 12 seconds per minute. But there is an option to play it at half speed, so you can have 48 hours days. That just seems insane to me. What on earth? You're basically playing it paused. But I like the communal side of things. I like being able to play with others. Playing it by myself, I think it would just be way too overwhelming, and I would rather play something more casual and with more communal things and more stuff to do, like a Stardew Valley or a Harvest Moon, etc. But that is Farming Simulator 25. check it out if you fancy those things. And then we have Cultist Simulator, which is another simulator game. I don't have much to say about this because it fucking just throws you into the deep end, explains nothing, and I bounced after a few minutes because I'm like, this could be cool. I'm gonna give you the description. So I'm gonna go into the Steam page. I don't want to really about the game. Here we go. Cultist Simulator is a game of apocalypse and yearning from Alexis Kennedy, creator of Fallen London and Sunless Sea. Play as a seeker after unholy mysteries in a 1920s themed setting of hidden gods and secret histories. Perhaps you're looking for knowledge, or power, or beauty, or revenge. Perhaps you just want the colors beneath the skin of the world. In this roguelike narrative card game, what you find may transform you forever. Every choice you make from moment to moment doesn't just advance the narrative, it also shapes it. Become a scholar of the unseen arts. Search your dreams for sanity-twisting rituals. Craft tools and summon spirits. Indoctrinate innocence. Seize your place as the herald of a new age. In this 20 to 40 hour game, you'll combine cards to tell your own story in a rich, Lovecraftian world of ambition, appetite, and abomination. Corrupt your friends, consume your enemies. There is never only one history, etc., and so on and so forth. It sounds really cool to have a card game that is not about slaying the spire or any kind of the traditional thing, but it's a narrative-focused one that feels maybe somewhat like a choose-your-own-adventure thing. However, the game, at least the console version, which is the one I played on Xbox, zero tutorial whatsoever. You just start a new game and then you're in it. There's no explanation of any kind to what you should do, how the game works, there's nothing. You just fucking start this card and then there's a timer going down and then you can play this thing and then there's another timer and then it completes and then you get some reward and you're like, what the fuck is going on? So Cultist Simulator might be a really good game, but I wouldn't know because the game doesn't want to tell me a fucking thing about it. Give me some kind of explanation. Just tell me something. I'm not going on YouTube to figure out how you work. I'm not going to read some fucking guide to figure out how you work. That's on you. It's not on me. So, don't really have anything else to say about Cultist Simulator because it didn't want to tell me anything about it. So, you want to find out about it? Google it. We'll go watch some YouTube videos. Go watch some YouTube tutorials. Then, White Day 2, The Flower That Tells Lies, is a first-person horror game that is super, super janky and rough. It is comprised of 3 different stories that you can play in any order. I started with the third one, which has you playing a young girl going to a school, and there's some ghost girl there, and you're going around searching. You get to this library, and then there's some missing books that you have to find and return them, and spooky things happen, but the game is really rough. One of the worst things about it is that it doesn't just have texture load-in problems, but assets, complete world load-in issues where everything but one thing will not load in for a long time. And it is jarring, it is off-putting. It's scary in its own way, but it's not scary intentionally in that. When I first booted that storyline and you get this opening cutscene, I just see my character and then a bit of yellow tape that is blocking off an entrance. I didn't know what it was at first. I just saw yellow tape blocking off something. And so I see my character and then all blackness and then this yellow tape. And they are looking around and then they crawl onto the tape. And I was like, what is this? This is a striking bit of imagery because it's just a completely black room. and then this yellow tape on my character. And then maybe 5 seconds later, after she's already gone onto the tape and is walking away, the school and the trees surrounding it, foliage, etc., fence, all of that pops in. I'm like, oh, she's entered the school. It just didn't load in all that time. Cool. And that happens a lot between the transitions between cutscenes and gameplay, where things will just take forever to load in. It doesn't play particularly well. I don't know if this is the way the gameplay is through all the stories, but you come across instant cameras and you use those to stun NPCs who will be chasing you, looking for you. If they spot you and come after you, you can, because NPCs, at least in this area, that are hostile towards you are humans who have been inhabited by some kind of spirit, and take a picture of them. The spirit gets pushed out, which is a cool effect, and then they're stunned for a short period of time. There's no hiding. You can't hide in any kind of closet or anything of that nature. But the game is just, it's never particularly scary when it's trying to be scary. And then it's just really, really janky. Because there were plenty of times where I'd go into a classroom and then it switches to some kind of dark and ominous setting, real bloody, things all over the place, dead bodies here and there. I'm like, okay, all right. Just not scary. But yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. The load in issues though really do kill any attempt at immersion. As again, White Day 2, The Flower That Tells Lies. Glitch Hero is a very small, short little action adventure game where you play this girl whose, I think, grandfather works in some kind of VR thing, and he and a few colleagues, it seems like, are all under VR, and then you want to get in there too. So you ask them something and you say, oh, I want to check this out too. If you don't say anything, that means I can. All right, I'm going in. And then you enter the digital world and go around doing basic things like attacking robots with your hammer.exe, and you get a little dash, and it looks terrible. It looks like old bad Flash games online. Doesn't play well. Not very responsive, your attacks. And it's so short too. It's a very, very small game. Probably got through half of it in an hour. There's not a lot to it. I just kept playing because when I realized it was very short, I'm like, all right, this won't take me that long. But one of the things that is more unique to it are the coding, quote in quotations, bits of gameplay that are more puzzly, where you'll have to input a few actions in a coding line essentially, and have your character move in a certain way and do actions in certain timing to flip a switch that'll open up the next area, and so on and so forth. So you might have a few spaces in front of you, then they turn and there's a button you need to press, and there might be some robots in your way, some bushes in your way. So you'll say step forward, attack, step forward, turn, step forward, attack, step forward, attack, step forward, attack, and string a line of actions like that. And they get more complex the deeper you get into the game, but never overly complex. But the combat itself and all that, it's not super engaging. It's a very simple thing that there could be something to, maybe in a sequel where they expand upon these ideas and give it, a nicer aesthetic because I really do not like the look of the game. It's very off-putting to me, which is funny too because there was this one moment early on where it just gave me maybe 5 seconds randomly of a nice looking bit of 2D animation with voice acting, and there hasn't been any since. Not another cutscene like that. No more voice acting. I was like, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from? This looks good. The voice acting, it was fine. There was so little that I can't really gauge its quality, but it's just not. It's not hitting on any level. Don't like looking at it. Don't like playing it. Don't care about any of the story that it's given me. So that is Glitch Hero. Then 2 short ones. MetroLand is a Temple Run, Subway Surfers like, behind the back, endless runner. That clearly is a mobile port, and you have a lot of those mobile trappings where, based on timers, you get free things every day, and then you have these certain tasks that you can do every day, and you can unlock multiple characters, and you get this little home base where you can send characters you're not playing as on missions to get different types of currencies that'll help you upgrade your base. You have a space to upgrade upgrades. You get robots who can help with certain work. You can open up loot boxes, essentially. You find or purchase them with this currency or that currency, so on and so forth. And the basic running gameplay of it is exactly, it's way more akin to Subway Surfers than Temple Run, because I don't remember Temple Run being very level based, but Subway Surfers, you had the points where you get up and you get up on top of the trains and so on. And here it falls into that space. You're running down the streets, get to a museum. I'm sure there are later areas as well, but it's all about collecting coins, doing little missions during runs, and getting upgrade tokens for your various characters. And it's all standard stuff. The biggest issue with it is that there is a lot of content there, but to get all the achievements in it, you don't have to spend. You don't have to play it for maybe a few hours, 2 hours, if that. And I already got all the achievements, so now I have no incentive to play it because it's fine. It's maybe better than fine. I enjoy games like this, and I think it plays pretty well. I think at times it feels just slightly less responsive than I would like, but it's a solid one of these. It's just once you take away the achievements for me, then I look at you and I think, are you the best though? And the best for me probably was, so I got pretty deep into Subway Surfers. It doesn't hurt that those games are great for mobile, but I kind of wish, well, maybe I don't wish it had harder achievements, because then I would keep playing it. Because now that I'm done with it, I'm like, okay, this is a good few hours. And it's not an expensive game, so if you like endless runners, it's worth checking out. It's a fun little time. And if you don't care about achievements, then you have more stuff to get hooked on in terms of upgrading and stuff like that. It's very easy to just do a run here and there. Perfect little bite-sized content. But that is MetroLand. And then the last one, Spellagis, whatever it is, Spellagis, is a Vampire Survivors like that is level-based. And with each level, you have to survive 15 waves in order to complete it and move on to the next area. It's okay, but it has one big problem. The way you upgrade your character is that after every wave, you can take the gold you've earned during that round and on any previous run that you've held on to, and purchase upgrades for your character. The problem is, after my first run, I unlocked a character because there are 2 unlocked at the start. One that's just standard, no buffs or bonuses of any kind, and then one that gives you, I think, faster movement, faster attacking for way less damage. The first character I unlocked, and presumably everyone unlocks, is a character that makes more gold show up. And this comes in the, I don't know if more gold will come from enemy drops from killing them as well, but from barrels that pop up here and there, you'll get stacks of gold instead of just a single gold coin. This breaks the game. It breaks the game by giving you more gold than you can ever need for anything. And after only a few waves, you'll be able to purchase every upgrade every single wave. And that takes away from the strategy of looking at the choices and picking out the ones you want for that run and shaping your character a certain way. So focusing maybe on critical hits or attack range and attack speed, or however you want to shape your character. You don't have to worry about any of that because you can afford every single upgrade. And that makes the entire game just a breeze. Once I unlocked that character, it didn't matter who else I was unlocking in future runs. I didn't have to think about anything. And your health resets between each wave. So if you take damage, it doesn't really matter because as long as you survive the wave, everything will be refilled. So while it plays fine, it doesn't have a great art style aesthetic, but it plays fine. It just quickly becomes irrelevant because of this character that breaks the game. To me, at least, I feel like it breaks the game because it made it so that I didn't have to think about anything, and that kind of sucked because I do like these games, and I'm always on the outlook for new ones that have this unique element or that unique element, and this one's element of uniqueness is a character that completely breaks it immediately. So yeah, that is Spellagis, however it's pronounced. And that's it for this here episode of the Pixelated Sausage Show. Once again, I am Marcus Ness. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoyed this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense effort. I forgot to talk about comments and questions at the top of the thing. So if you've made it this far, you have any questions you'd like to ask for the next podcast, you could ask them and I'll ask them. Son of a bitch. Whatever. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, some fancy Discord roles, a private Discord channel, random drops here and there like a James Cameron ranking, Denis Villeneuve, tier list, just some thoughts on this movie or that movie, and other stuff of that nature. I keep a lot of the movie stuff to Patreon. But there's all that. Or you can just support me if that is your fancy. That is, again, patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have both a wonderful rest of your day, a lovely rest of your week, and a wonderful weekend. But for now, adios, arrivederci. It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time.